This is Beyond the Moon, a Ditch Witch podcast where we dig deep into news, job site stories, Ditch Witch culture, and all the other dirt that makes up the industry.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Beyond the Moon. I'm your host, Sean Hubbard, and I am joined by John English, who I refer to as the Northern Irish Spaniard. How are you, sir?
Good. Good to having me.
Yeah, so you guys watching on the stream here, if you're on the video, you may notice that we have a little bit different backdrop than we normally do, and that's because we are at ABC, which is a lovely little acronym for the annual business conference. So the Ditch Witch division annually flies in all of our dealers, and we give presentations on upcoming products. We talk about business. We talk about where we're going in the future. And we get together and we just kind of hang out. And we're set up in the Oklahoma City Tap House here in the Omni Hotel in Oklahoma City. And I think this is a pretty good setting for the Ditch Witch crowd here in the Tap House.
Nice place.
Yeah, the Omni's big time. And then we found the local bar right here in the lobby.
As you do.
Yeah, and that's the way it works out. So we're happy that John is here today, and he's not typically in Oklahoma with us. John works out of our Barcelona office.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, so how often do you make it back to Oklahoma?
It's recently it's just been about maybe once a year. I remember a few years ago when I worked at Subsite, I think there was 1 year I was here 4 times in 1 year. That was usually 2-3 times a year.
Is that too much? 4 times in 1 year?
4 is probably the limit. Yeah, just because it's a long flight and sometimes we don't have, we have to get 3 flights to get here.
Right.
Yeah, the jet lag can catch up with you. But yeah, 4 times is good enough.
Yeah, it's a full day to get here.
Yes.
And you got in what, last night?
Last night, yeah.
I got you. So what's the travel time to get here from Barcelona?
So, fortunately, I was still able to get 2 flights. So Barcelona Atlanta was 9.5 hours, and then sitting about at Atlanta airport for 4.5 hours, which was a wonderful experience. Oh, yeah. Imagine. And then Atlanta to Oklahoma City is about 2 hours.
Yeah, we love all of our Atlanta folks. The airport maybe could use a little work. But
yeah, could do some spring cleaning and updating, let's say.
Yeah, fair enough. But you're here, and we're glad you're here, and thanks for hopping on the episode today with us. Yeah, so John and I were on the phone a little while back, and it should seem fairly obvious that John himself is a football fan, or soccer as we call it here, and it's probably a little less obvious that I also like soccer. And played in college at Gardner Webb, go running Bulldogs. So yeah, and John was kind of telling me that you have some sort of rec league back in Barcelona that you play on sometimes.
Yeah, so it's called the Barcelona International Football League. I've been in Barcelona since 1997. And I've basically been playing in it since 1998. And the team I play for now, we founded it in 2000. So I think we're at, on 24th year?
Yeah.
And I don't know if this is a good thing or not, but I still play a little bit for them.
Do you?
But I'm the emergency goalkeeper.
Okay. You're not the front runner?
No, definitely not. The running days are behind me. So a couple of years ago, I'd stopped playing. And then we were playing a preseason friendly. And I texted one of the guys, hey, how'd we get on? He said, we drew 1 each. I was the goalkeeper. And this guy's like 5 foot nothing.
Yeah.
And he's never won a header, never mind caught a ball in his life.
Right.
So I said, hey, if you can't get anyone for next week, give me a shout. And it just ran on from playing a couple of friendlies to a few competitive games until the real goalkeeper came back. And this year I've played a couple of games as well, but I have told them, guys, I'm 47. If you want to win the league, you need to get a better goalkeeper option.
Do you have any clean sheets on your record over the last couple of years, or what?
So I had 2 in a row last year, which much to our chagrin, we haven't had that in a few seasons. And I would say I'm undefeated in competitive games.
Oh, there you go.
Competitive games. Less said about the friendly games, better.
Well, how competitive is that league? I mean, is it a bunch of guys that used to play and they're just kind of still living in the moment and want to roll? Or
yeah, so the league in general has the quality's improved over the last 20 years. Used to be maybe 20 years ago, you had 4 or 5 pretty strong teams, 4 or 5 average teams. I had 4 or 5 like pretty rubbish teams. No disrespect to them, right? And now all the teams are pretty strong. A few years ago, well, maybe about 10 years ago, we had a team from Georgia. Not the Georgia here,
right?
The other one.
Not Atlanta, Georgia.
No, Georgia.
Yeah.
And these guys all seemed like, they were all like, fit and strong. And we were all thinking, are they like the Dynamo Tbilisi reserve team? And they play for 1 year, won the double, won the league. We drew with them in the league, so
There you
he's
go.
off to our team. And but yeah, it's a strong enough league. We've had a couple of local Catalan teams have joined the league.
Okay.
And we've even had a couple of players going to play for local teams in, let's say, federated real leagues as well.
Oh, that's awesome.
Pretty good.
Yeah, pretty good competition. So speaking, some of those more competitive leagues. I know that you're from Northern Ireland.
Yes.
You have lived in Barcelona, Spain for 27 years. Which national club do you pull for, or can you say without getting in trouble if there's people watching from both countries?
Oh no, I'm Northern Ireland, so I'll go. I'll try and travel to see the national team playing abroad. Unfortunately, we don't really qualify for that many major tournaments. So if we don't qualify, I'll give my backing to the Spanish team.
Yeah, that's fair. Are you gonna try to come back over here? I mean, the States, we're hosting a World Cup here in about a year.
Oh, I'm praying that we qualify and that we're hopefully playing in Kansas City, which is just up the road.
Oh, I know.
If not in Toronto, because I've got a very good friend there, and I've booked his sofa to stay on.
So yeah, if that works out, look me up and we'll try to do it.
Oh, definitely.
We'll go, man. That'll be awesome. Of course, I'll be cheering for the States, though.
Obviously. Yeah.
Obviously, you have to. Soccer, football aside, let's talk about you as a person and kind of your professional involvement with Ditch Witch. I know that you mentioned earlier that you used to work for Subsite, which is one of our sister companies that makes the electronics and underground utility locating equipment. But I think I have in my notes here that you started in 2012 for Subsite.
Yeah, the end of 2012. So I've been working with machinery since 2000.
Okay.
Different industries, aggregates, recycling, scrap, agriculture, general construction machinery. And then it was around about, I think it was autumn 2012, I saw an advert and said, manufacturer in Barcelona.
Yeah.
Looking for representative with construction machinery experience. I thought, oh, that's me.
Yeah.
Agricultural machinery experience. Oh, that's me again. Must speak English. And I know people listening to this might think that's a 50-50 shot, but yeah, that's me.
Yeah, you can.
Willing to travel. I'm like, oh, sounds good. But a manufacturer in Barcelona, and I was thinking, there's not that many, for agriculture and construction.
Yeah.
And I was
like, who could that be?
Yeah, maybe someone's going to move here. So it turned out it was Subsite, and it all went well. So I joined when we were bringing out the old TK tracker. That was the upgrade on the 750.
Right.
But I remember like a few months after, I still hadn't seen any agricultural work with this tracker or with the vibrant cable.
Yeah, I was going to ask you about that. I don't know where that fits.
Yeah, so I asked someone, I said, so where does that fit in? Is there some aspect of the job I haven't seen yet? Right. They said, oh no, I think that was maybe an advert from the 1980s for the trenchers and the skid steers and that. We just copy.
The old copy and paste trick.
That was it. Yeah.
Hey, it worked though.
It did, yeah.
So yeah, you had been in Barcelona for years before you took that Subsite job, and I'm assuming that so Subsite's also manufactured in Perry, Oklahoma, right across the pond from Ditch Witch. So from Barcelona, was that the first time you'd been to Oklahoma? First time you'd been to Perry, and what was that experience like?
So first time I came over, I came over 1st of December 2012 for 3 weeks to do some product training. And
were you shocked by all the people in the big city that Perry is?
Yeah. So my colleagues had sort of told me about it. They said, basically the factory's bigger than the town.
Right.
Yeah, okay, well, there's a few towns in Spain like that as well. The industrial area is bigger than the actual town itself. But and they did say, it's sort of barren. There's
not a lot around there.
Not a lot around there. And then you come over and you see, like, wow, there is a lot of countryside here. A lot of countryside. But everyone was really welcoming. Everyone's very friendly.
Yeah.
It was a good experience for me. I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, that's what makes it enjoyable, I guess, to work there in Perry is everybody's pulling in the same direction. It's a really good community, a lot of good folks.
And you speak to people, and a lot of people have been here 20, 30, even 40 years. And you think, well, there must be something in that as well.
Right.
They're, happy enough to stay with 30 years. And the other advantage is that those people have a lot of experience. So when you ask them something about work or a specific product or a specific application, they can rhyme off, examples from, yesteryear. And you do feel as if you're speaking to, people who know what they're talking about.
Yeah, some of those guys got it down pretty well. And then there's some guys like me that just make it up as we go.
Some of us just need to wing it,
That's what I find works better for me.
You make it.
That's right. Yeah, find somebody that knows and ask them. That's how I do it. So, okay, you started in 2012 with
Yep.
Subsite. You're now wearing a Ditch Witch shirt.
Yes.
So you're on the Ditch Witch team. Tell me about that transition, or when did that take place?
So I've been with Ditch Witch side for 2.5 years now.
Okay.
And my official title is International Corporate Accounts Manager, which sounds pretty highfalutin.
That's official.
It's basically working with the rental companies. So the idea was that we're trying to replicate what we do in the States, working with the big accounts like United Rentals and that, trying to do the same in Europe. And then I've sort of transitioned, because most of the rental machinery is the compact utility equipment line, the skid steers and the pedestrian trenchers. So my boss in Barcelona, Brian Jorgensen, he had the wonderful idea one day of, hey, these are all the same machines. Why don't you just take care of all the gardening and landscaping?
Why don't I?
Do all
In your
those
spare
things?
time?
Oh, yeah, why not? Sure, yeah. Gardening, landscaping, that's wonderful. You get to be outside.
Yeah.
The green grass. So really, I've been working with the CUE, compact utility equipment.
Okay.
Doing or helping to organize the trade shows with the different dealers. Some trade shows we do in Europe. And this year we did a compact utility equipment road show in a few countries. So that was basically, we've been doing a road show for a couple of years. But last year we did a leg in the Czech Republic with our dealer 3K. And it was very successful. We had our rings there. We had a couple of large trenchers. But they had a load of skid steers, a load of attachments. And we were in this, it was a farmer's field basically. He had harvested his corn 2 weeks before, so we could do what we wanted there. And we had lots of customers coming down, just spending hours driving the machines, trying the different attachments. Their children were actually driving them as well.
Oh, wow.
So it got us thinking, the compact line, it's very mobile, they're all small, easy to transport.
Yeah, you can haul them around where it
Let's
is.
try and replicate that a little bit in Europe. So we did a couple this year in Germany and in Lithuania.
Okay.
They were good fun.
So is that kind of that's kind of the gist of a road show? Is you literally just load up the equipment and take it? Do you take it to different dealers, or you go to different shows?
So the dealer basically, they do it either in their own land or their own facilities, or they'll get a feed nearby. You stick up a few tents, get the catering sorted out. It's hamburgers, hot dogs, and Coca-Cola. That's it. Sometimes there's a beer or two. I couldn't, but not while we're operating machinery.
There you
Just
go.
for health and safety. No, yeah, definitely not.
That's right.
So it's just loading the machinery up, let the customers use it for a day,
Okay.
pack everything up again, go to the next spot.
How much of your job is not in Barcelona? Are you on the road all the time? Do you get to travel to some cool places, or are there kind of some?
Yeah,
Like, talk about your travel.
It's probably 50-50.
Okay.
I think. Yeah, you get to travel to some nice places around Europe. When I was with Subside, I was actually the international sales manager, and that was for the whole world except for the US and Canada.
Do you earn some frequent flyer miles?
We sort of do, but in Europe, to be honest, a lot of our flights we just get budget airlines because they're just the easiest to get to, and because some of the dealers aren't near the main airport.
I got you. So yeah, that's kind of a nutshell, I think, of what an international sales, corporate account sales guy does.
Yeah.
But we all have other duties as assigned, and I think within the last year or two, you have been dubbed the MC of our sales conference, and also we have an event in Barcelona annually that you MC. So how does that come about?
So a few years ago, we were doing our Barcelona event. So we do a yearly event in Barcelona where, again, customers come. We get about 300 customers.
Right.
We could get a lot more. So basically, we have the day of trying out the machines, explaining new products to the customers and that, with a lunch there. And in the evening, we have a dinner. The reason we can't really have more than 300 people is we can't get anywhere that'll seat more than 300.
Fit them in the building.
Lunchtime's no problem because we do catering in our premises. So, you can get 1,300, that wouldn't be a problem.
Yep.
Nighttime's the limiting factor. So after lunch in our facility, we do a drilling rodeo.
Okay.
No, it's not the most difficult of drilling. It's basically 30, 40, 50 yards. You got it's a drill down. Yeah. Hit the cone, make sure you're at a certain depth halfway through, and first team to come out nearest to the cone or hitting the cone basically wins, at different points scoring in that. So I was volunteered to do the MC for that. And as you can imagine, just standing watching people drill, maybe not the most interesting of pastimes.
Maybe not. Yeah.
So we just started, like having interviews with customers,
Okay.
dealers, and a little bit, we would say, like in Belfast, where I'm from, a lot of slagging, which basically
Yep.
is good-natured insults.
There you go.
Or banter.
It's like a roast.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, roast. And, all the countries are there. So we don't just pick on one country. We like to pick on all of them,
Everybody's fair game.
Exactly. The Spanish for maybe not being able to compete because they're in their siesta. The French because, well, it's past their 35-hour working week. And, and the Germans with their, supreme efficiency and organization, well, they usually come last.
Yeah.
So
Everybody's fair game.
everyone's fair game, And so then from there, again, so last year they asked me to do the MC at the sales conference. And that's where you give out the awards, to the dealer salesmen. And we've obviously got a bit of a training schedule, similar to the ABC and presentations going on. But then we have the banquet where we reward those sales.
I got a little less roasting in that one, or did you include some of that?
A little bit less, because I am wary that sometimes sense of humor sometimes don't travel well.
Yeah, that's a fear of mine every single day.
Yes, but it went well.
Yeah.
It went well.
Well,
to be
good.
honest, yeah.
Good. You parlayed that into another as other duties assigned thing. So let's wrap up here today. I think we're getting close to running out of time, and the crew's getting some stuff set up, and I can hear some plates clanging and stuff like that.
Clanking.
Question of the day for you, Mr. English, is I know we had talked that your wife is from Kenya.
Yes.
You're from Northern Ireland. You've gone on backpacking trips all over the place. You used to be the all-world outside of North America rep, so you've traveled a lot.
Yeah.
Where is your favorite place you've ever visited? And that could be a work trip, or that could be a vacation with the wife, or that could be anything, any place you've ever been. Where you like?
I'm going to give you 3.
Okay.
All right. For traveling, if you want to go backpacking.
Don't say Perry.
New Zealand.
Yeah.
For backpacking. If you want to go backpacking, it's got a couple of big cities, interesting stuff. It's got glaciers, beautiful countryside, beaches.
Yeah.
People are really friendly.
My parents went to New Zealand a couple of years
Yeah.
ago, and my mom did the what's it called, parasailing thing. She jumped off a cliff.
The
with
bungee jumping.
Yeah, something.
Yeah.
She's crazy though.
Did that there.
It was wild. But anyways, yeah. So New Zealand, that's a good one.
New Zealand, for a holiday with my wife, Kenya or Tanzania.
Okay.
We honeymooned in Tanzania in the Ngorongoro crater. Yeah, going on safari in Africa is just amazing.
I could imagine.
All the wildlife. But my favorite place to go, and this is very, very much weather dependent, the Mourne Mountains in Northern Ireland.
Oh yeah.
So they sweep up from the sea. They're not the highest mountains in the world, but they start like sea level. If you can get a clear day, the views are spectacular.
Yeah.
Absolutely beautiful.
That's awesome.
But it is weather dependent.
Yeah.
So there's a bit of a disclaimer.
I gotcha. No, that's awesome. I would love to go to Northern Ireland sometime. So I'm going to hit
I
you
would
up.
recommend it.
Yeah.
It's a very nice place.
Good deal. Well, I think we're up against it, John. Thank you so much for hopping on.
No problem. Thank you.
Everybody else, we're going to go ahead and call it a day, and we'll see you next time. Thanks.
Yep. All right.
Well, that's it for this week's episode of Beyond the Moon. Be sure to subscribe to this podcast on your favorite platform and follow us on social media @Ditchwitch.